Hello, it's Mitch Shire, President and CEO of ZinMarketing.com. Today we are going to talk about email personalization. And it's something we haven't talked about before in the video series, but I thought it would be interesting to just give you 5 personalization strategies, things that you can specifically do that will make your emails more effective. And there's a couple of pitfalls or things that you should not do, and I'll kind of steer you away from those. So when we're talking about personalization, we're talking about what you would expect, which is inserting somebody's name into an email. Dear Mitch, hi Mitch, hey Mitch, something like that. And it's kind of a well-known fact of human nature that people are really hypersensitive or responsive to their own name, and they tend to subconsciously really perk up when they hear it. And the same holds true in the marketing world. Sales reps have known this for a long time. Now, in email land, we'll just give you 5 simple things you can do that'll make a difference. The first one is just to use a first name somewhere in the message. So there's an example of a subject line in an email that starts out with "Hi Mitch," where first name is inserted. It makes it appear that the email is designed to be written specifically for you. And there's a couple of different ways that you can use the name. One thing I would suggest though is that you use this sparingly. Don't use it on every single email and don't overdo it, or you end up sounding like the traditional used car salesman that is basically saying your name every sentence, and it just sounds awkward. And instead of being effective and causing you to perk up, it kind of becomes annoying. So you really can overdo it, and you don't want to do this too often. One of the mistakes I see is that people will create an autoresponder series that might have 8 messages in the sequence, and they put the first name in the subject line every single time. So when you look at all of the messages from that company, it looks really awkward, and it basically takes away and wipes out the aspect of personalization, which really works. So the pitfall, the thing to avoid, is just don't overdo it. Now, usually people don't go beyond just using a first name, but there really are other ways that you can personalize a message, and here's a few other ones that can work. Use the full name. And I should point out, personalization really works when you have a clean database. And by clean database, I mean, let's say you're pulling your email addresses from a transaction on an e-commerce site. Almost all transactions on an e-commerce site are going to be clean. I'll put in Mitch as my first name. I'll put in Tar as my last name. I'll put in my proper email address because it's basically an e-commerce transaction. If I'm just filling out a form on a website for a newsletter, my first name might not necessarily be legitimate, and your database is going to be a little bit corrupted. So just be aware, if you've got a good quality database, you can do better with this. If your database is bad quality, don't try it, because for every person whose name perks up because you put in Dear Mitch, somebody else will not be amused because there's some crazy set of characters and numbers that they put in the name field. So it's not personalized at all, and then they know it. But use a full name. You can use a full name. Here's a couple of examples. I put it in Attention Mitch Tar, or I put it in at the end, the coupon code for Mitch Tar. And that can look just a little bit more formal, a little bit more personalized. Again, when people are busy and reading, they don't think about this. They don't go, hey, this company doesn't know who I am. Why are they using my name? That's just not a thought that people have. It happens fast. It's instantaneous. They see their name, they perk up, and that's what its job is to do. It's just a really small little boost. The third thing you can do is use other things besides name, first name, or full name. You can use things like the email address. So quite often you'll see in an email, it'll say you used this email address to sign up for this list, or you used this email address when you registered. Sometimes it can be a common courtesy. Sometimes it can be the key component of the email. And people that have multiple email addresses that are forwarded all over the place, this helps them if they wanted to unsubscribe or get off the list or change their subscription preferences. So just give a consideration to do this. This is another way to make your message a little bit more personal. The fourth thing you can do is you can basically use any information from your database. So if you read this message, it says here in the second paragraph, your last product order was for, and it has a name of a product, I highlighted in bold, and an order date, also highlighted in bold. The notion here is, if you look at your entire database, there is tons of information that you could use or weave into an email. And sometimes just looking at the data that you have available for a client record will give you some ideas. It might be something like the city that you live in. It might be a phone number. It could be an order history. It could be almost anything. But just look at the data that you have available, and it can spark some creative ideas to help you make your emails a little bit more personal. So go beyond the name and start to dig into what other information do you have available to make your email more personal. The fifth thing to do is you can make the email personal by using behavioral information. Things like, and this is maybe not the best example, but it's one that came to mind when I was creating this. The second paragraph here says, I noticed you opened our last email and thought you'd appreciate this reminder. So this is maybe a little bit more of a segment than a personalization, but there is things that people do that then can become information into future emails. So just kind of think, outside the box, go beyond first name, and see what else you can pull together to make an email personalized. Sometimes you could actually make the paragraph itself change based on what happens. So if the email was opened, the second paragraph would be this way. If the email was unopened, the second paragraph would be different. So you can also make more advanced emails that are intelligent or smart based on some other activity or behavior that will make your messages smarter. So think beyond just your basic use of first name. Don't overdo it. Here's some of the basic takeaways that you can have. Use names casually, the way you would in conversation. Use them all over the email. Look for other data from your database to be able to make your emails personalized. And look for behavior patterns or behavior information that you can use so that the emails are different based on that behavior. That's it for the use of email personalization. It's often a hotly debated topic, but if you really want to find out for yourself, test a few things. Try some split tests where in one subject line you use the name, first name, the competing subject line you don't use the first name, and just see how much of a difference that you will find. In our experience, most of the time the personalized one will work better. Occasionally it does not, and really it just comes down to your audience and your market and how they expect to hear from you. Of course, you can always go to ZinMarketing.com/help to find out more about how we could do your email marketing for you. Or if you want to learn how to do it, you can go to nospamemailmarketing.com, and we've got free videos and training programs there that will teach you how to do it on your own. Hope you had a good day today and another good one coming up tomorrow, and we'll talk to you next time.